How does Cornell support taking research from the laboratories or from the library and then push them down this innovation pipeline? And I think we've started with the support of the university, with the support of our leadership, to provide these resources that are necessary.
Every technology is different. And with every technology, there's a whole array of opportunities that's different. And the first charge that we have to deal with in dealing with our entrepreneurial teams is to help them sort out from the myriad of possible opportunities for their technology, which is the best, or more specifically, which is more realistic an opportunity to move forward into the marketplace.
One of the most interesting opportunities that we have is to get the message out to inventors in the College of Engineering and in the College of Information Sciences that there's amazing resources available through the Cornell entrepreneurial ecosystem, and it's our job to help connect early stage startups.
Well, entrepreneurship at Cornell has many different aspects to it. It's being practiced at many different levels and in many different locations. So, for example, there is the Entrepreneurship at Cornell activity where undergraduate and graduate students and others can sort of get advice and mentorship about how they might be able to start an idea and bring it to the market. The other side of entrepreneurship at Cornell has to do with how do you take technologies that have been developed, discovered at Cornell, and bring them closer to the market or to an application. And that involves our incubators and the ecosystem that they support.
We have a general principle in the incubators that we want to make sure the students graduate before they take on the full responsibility of a very large-scale startup. So we separate those activities because the menu of services and the level of support increases dramatically.
The McGovern Center was established as a hub for biotechnology at Cornell. We provide startup service to faculty and postdoc and graduate student wannabe entrepreneurs in the life sciences. And there's a lot of them. More specifically, over 400 over the course of the last 10 years.
So the mission of the Praxis Center is to help early stage startups in engineering, digital, and physical sciences to get a jump on their startup efforts down the road toward commercialization of their innovative ideas. We start out with the most basic elements, which are office space and laboratory space. And then we provide a variety of mentoring and guidance and training and connections to the outside world, which include angel investors, intellectual property advisors, marketing advisors. And then that leads to a more advanced implementation as the company matures.
We're trying to do a lot of that, what we call the translational funding. We try to do that with our incubators, where you basically try to step in and really help these very nascent ideas and bring them out. And it's not about money only. The management team in any of these startups is very important. So how do you really support these sometimes one-person team or two-people team who might come from a technical background with the management and business expertise that is really necessary to see this group and a team come together to really be successful.
A hallmark of our program is that you have your plan, you work your plan, you report on progress of your plan weekly. So it's a question of not, how you've been doing for the last 3 months, but what's today's problem? And today's problem may be quite different than yesterday's problem. The other imperative that makes life interesting in our environment is that both of these Cornell incubators are rather unique in that you can fail, and if you fail, you are tossed out. There's the prospect of success if you work the plan, and there's the prospect of failure if you are unable to do so. And that's really unique to Cornell's incubators, and I think this kind of stems from the freedom with responsibility ethos that's kind of baked into the university.
I think this is as much a Cornell effect as it is a national trend. I think there is a lot more interest in having impact in the society, and that sometimes is translated as being able to really provide an application or bring an application to the market or bring a product to the market, especially if it is in this bigger area of where it can benefit society.
So over the course of my career at McGovern and at Cornell, I've served as the chairperson of the Business Incubator Association of New York State. And at that time, there were some 40 incubators in the association throughout the state. Now there's 80. This is a growing business. There's been a gathering storm. There's an expectation that if the problem that they are grappling with is big enough and heroic enough, and the solution they develop is good enough, then there should be a path for commercialization.
Every year, Cornell generates 300 to 400 patents. We'd like to commercialize as many of them as we can. In many cases, commercialization is best achieved by a startup venture rather than licensing to an outside firm. And this is where the university incubators get involved, working with the Center for Technology Licensing to help the ventures commercialize their innovations.
With respect to the culture at Cornell, there is a lot more expertise, awareness, and understanding of what is required to get a startup up and running now than there was 10 years ago. And so that's indication of progress.
It is about making change. Absolutely. It's not necessarily about making money. I think it's also about training a new generation of scientists, engineers, social scientists, and the like, where they are really trained to see these problems more holistically and not just in the narrow way that sometimes their education might have worked in the past. I think when you sort of look at what is excellent at Cornell, we are perfectly equipped to really push that forward because of the talent, because of the infrastructure, and because of the desire to have that impact, which is not a new phenomenon, by the way. It is something that Cornell has been doing successfully for several decades.